If you're in sales, you know it's more than just dialing. It's about earning trust, handling pushback, and closing with confidence. You're here because you want to grow, sell smarter, lead stronger, and that makes you different from the average rep. In this video, you'll hear from Tyler, VP of Sales at REDX. He has been a sales leader with over 15 years in the game. He's led teams, scaled what works, and made mistakes that taught him more than success ever could. Tyler, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you
Super happy to be here. I'm so good.
Oh, good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and just your journey through sales?
Yeah, so I've been a sales guy since Cub Scout popcorn, like since I was 8 years old, so 32 years.
Oh, wow.
And I've just always been a sales guy, and I've done everything from door-to-door sales to being on the phone to large ticket sales to small stuff and business to business and business to consumer. I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So you would probably say you are the king of sales. You wouldn't say it, maybe?
Oh, no, I'd say it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, we have some questions already planned out, so we'll ask you those, and we want to hear what the king of sales has to say about them.
You got it.
Okay. The first question is, you've led sales teams through a lot of market shifts. What are some of the biggest struggles you've seen reps face consistently?
That's a great question. I think that the biggest struggle for sales reps to be consistent is the ability to stay focused on the activities that actually matter, right? Like it's so easy for us to get caught up in researching this prospect and putting together the perfect quote and doing all these things when in reality, those things don't move the needle. When a salesperson focuses on the activity that actually drives sales, that's where they're going to see consistency. And it doesn't matter what the market is. It doesn't matter what the economy's doing. It doesn't matter what shifts people are experiencing. If they're consistently focused on the activities that actually produce results, then everything will work out.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. What are the hidden costs of disorganized outreach or weak follow-up systems?
Oh, man. Weak follow-up, the money is in the follow-up. Yeah. I mean, the money is in the follow-up. And my team that I manage right now, they typically spend about 30% of their time in prospecting and 70% of their time in follow-up. And the money is in the follow-up. And so if a sales organization is simply focused on initiating new relationships, but not working those through the pipeline, they're never going to gain the momentum that they want. They're going to spin their wheels and always feel like, man, we're talking to tons of new people, but we're not seeing the results. And it's because that follow-up system is weak. And it's going to be so frustrating.
Totally. Before this job, I had my first big girl job and I was selling printers. And I just had no idea. Like I had to go business to business, but I quickly learned, I was like hating talking on the phone, but I quickly learned like that's how you make the money.
That's where the money is.
So that's so wise words from the king. What's one mindset shift that separates top performing reps from the rest?
I think one of the most important mindsets for a top producing rep to have is that they have to follow the process. And what I mean is there are certain steps that a sales organization follows to close deals. And somewhere in the process is a qualification. And too often reps will disqualify leads too quickly. And so for whatever reason, they get on the phone and the person says something and that rep's like, oh, this person's never going to buy. When in reality, if they follow the process, right, whether that's a script or the stages of a pipeline or however it's organized, if they follow the process, they're going to see results. And here's why that's so important. A pipeline or a set of stages or a script is meant to lead you from point A to point B as often as possible. And what happens sometimes is we get somebody into that pipeline and we might skip a step or two and the person buys anyway. And what that teaches a sales rep is, oh, I don't have to follow the process and I'm still going to get sales. Well, the reality is your marketing department should be driving enough information and knowledge that when the buyers come, they already are somewhat educated on what the solution is. And so, yes, there's going to be people that buy, and it's a simpler process and less conversation and less objections that the sales guy has to overcome. But if that becomes the new norm, that they cut corners or skip steps, sure, they might still close deals, but it's never going to be as much as if they simply follow the process. Whether, again, it's a script, could be stages of a pipeline, it could be steps of a sales process. Stick to the process because it's proven.
Yeah, I love that, because it's never good to cut corners, right? It might be easier at the beginning, but in the long run,
so easy. But when that becomes the new norm, that's a problem.
Yeah. How do you feel about AI?
I love AI.
Yeah.
I think that AI is fantastic. And I don't think that AI is going to replace a ton of jobs, but the people that know how to utilize AI are going to replace those that don't.
Yeah. That snaps right there. That's awesome. Yeah. You've managed teams at scale. How do you keep reps on track without becoming a bottleneck?
I think the key for sales leaders to help their team build momentum is you have to manage processes and lead people. And it means that the process gets addressed and then simply does its thing. And a sales leader can come in on occasion and check and make sure that that process is doing its thing. But by doing that, it allows the sales leader to focus their time on the metrics that the salespeople are reaching, and the mindset that the salespeople are at, and the skill set that they have, right? If I can spend time focused on individuals, or even that could be managers that then lead their own teams, but if I can focus on the individuals and the people and spend my time there, then all of the information gets disseminated the way that it's supposed to, all of the motivation gets disseminated the way that it's supposed to, and it means that I never become the bottleneck. But if I'm constantly required to fill out this report and double check this and assign this out to people and do all these things, which are inevitably part of the job, but if I'm constantly required to do that, then I become the bottleneck and I slow things down. And so you have to figure out ways to automate those, either with technology or with personnel. Let them manage the processes, but then focus and lead the people. And sometimes that means that you're in the trenches with them. My sales guys love when I spend an hour or two on the sales floor making calls, because all of a sudden it's this group effort. There's a little added morale, and that goes so much further than spending 2 hours filling out reports.
Yeah. I love that, because I was just watching a video about Elon Musk, and he literally has put his desk in the, like, what's it called? Where all the action is, because he's not a leader that's just going to hide in his office. He wants to be. And they said it's a lot harder to hide things from him if he's in, like, the trenches with them. So not saying people are hiding things from you.
Sure.
But I'm just kidding. Okay. That's awesome. What systems or habits have helped you keep visibility without slowing your team down?
Documentation is key, right? And what that means is a rep comes to me to clarify something. Well, chances are that's not going to be the only time that I ever have to clarify that, right? It could be a product knowledge, it could be process, it could be policies, whatever it is. And if every time that rep or a rep comes and seeks that clarification, if I devote 2 or 3 or 10 minutes to that every single time, well, over the course of a quarter or a year, that adds up. And so documentation is key. And so I think that every good sales leader, whether this is video or written down or done with audio, whatever, every single process should be documented so that I can focus on the things that matter most. But it also needs to be documented and visible in a place for the salespeople to be able to see it. So my sales organization, we have a sales handbook, and it is everything from company policies to HR to vacations to commissions to, it's everything. It's product knowledge, it's systems that we use. And anytime they come to me with a question, I go, have you checked the handbook?
Yeah.
And if they say yes and I couldn't find the answer, then I know that I need to go update the handbook.
Yeah.
And so I'll go in and I'll find the appropriate place. And I'll go, okay, here's the information. But if I don't do that, then I'm continually repeating myself over and over and over, which mediocre and poor sales leaders know that that's what it feels like they do all the time. They go, I just answer the same questions over and over and over.
Yeah.
And that can be solved by great documentation that allows your sales guys to have access to the information that they need without me needing to be present to give that information.
Yeah, love it. Okay, what's a tactic that helped you or your team start closing more?
I think one of the most important tactics that any sales organization needs to remember in order to close more deals is that the more people you talk to, the more deals you close. Speed is the name of the game. The more people we can connect with, the more prospects, the more leads, the more people we can put into our pipelines, the better. And this is hugely important because 30% of my reps' time is spent in prospecting and 70% in follow-up. But that 30% needs to be fast, aggressive. It can't be lackadaisical. It has to be very, very activity focused. And without that, you won't talk to enough people to push enough of those through the pipeline to reach your goals. And so closing more deals is as simple as talking to more people. And that seems so basic, but that is the reality. Is any sales organ, and yes, you can focus on skill, and there's an element of improving skill set so that you close more of the people you talk to.
Yeah.
But if you want to close more deals, if any sales org wants to close more deals, simply start by talking to more people.
Yeah. I was a business major in business. I thought it was really interesting because they're like, yeah, knowledge is so important, but networking's really where it's going to be. Like,
yeah.
And I found that so interesting because I was like, I'm not the smartest person, but I know I can talk to people, right?
Yeah.
So that's really good. I like that. If someone's stuck in a slow, complex tool stack, where should they start?
If your tech stack is slowing you down, I think it's important to audit your time. So this doesn't matter if you're a sales rep or a sales leader or whatever, right? Doesn't matter what your role is. If you're not moving as quickly and seeing the results that you want, I think the most important thing to do is to audit your time. And I think that what somebody will find is they're spending too much time in tasks that could be automated, right? Whether that's automated using technology, right? If you're stuck in your CRM and you're constantly doing things in your CRM that your CRM actually has the ability to automate, that's one area right there that you can definitely speed up and improve. The other option is to utilize personnel to automate some of those steps and processes or integrations with other technologies. But the key, I think, is to audit your time to figure out where it's going. And every time I have somebody do that, there's always this light bulb that goes off as they're going through the process and they're going, wow, I'm spending too much time composing emails that I write over and over and over. It's the same follow-up email that I send to dozens of people a week. Why not templatize it to make it that much simpler? And I think that's one of the most valuable things that people could do, because what you then are left with is you're left with the steps that you take that will make you faster, which goes back to closing more deals begins with talking to more people.
Yeah. And that seems like such a basic thing, but I feel like a lot of people just don't realize, like, make a template, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. What would you say to a rep or manager feeling burnt out by messy outreach right now?
If somebody's burned out because of messy outreach, you've got to find a new solution. You've got to find something. When I first started in sales, I was dialing from a physical phone, and picking up the handset and punching in the number and letting it ring. And I mean, I can't even imagine doing that nowadays. I can't even imagine dialing one prospect at a time, let alone picking up the handset and doing it that way, right? Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's still industries where that's the case, but even then I go, get with the times, right?
Yeah.
There's better tools
Yeah.
available.
Like WAVV.
Exactly.
WAVV dialer.
Yeah, exactly. And that was not a purposeful plug, but the reality is, outreach is not messy. It is simple when you have the right tools, and I think that WAVV is an incredible tool for any sales organization.
Yeah, that's awesome. Where can people go if they want to learn more about creating systems that scale?
I think if people lack the skill or the knowledge that they need to do their job well, they need to first start at Google, right? Like, did you Google it?
Look it up.
Right? Because there's so much information available now.
Yeah.
Whether it's AI tools or YouTube. I mean, you can go get a PhD in just about anything you want on YouTube nowadays and learn everything that you need to know. And I think that the first place that people need to start is simply going to the resources that are already available to us. And then if they require more specialized knowledge and education, then they can go seek that out.
Yeah.
But sometimes we overlook the things that are so incredibly simple.
Yeah.
And
free.
will get us free. Yeah. But we overlook those things that will get us what we need quickly.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Okay. Just to end it off, I'm going to say rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And you just, whatever first comes into your mind. Okay.
Okay.
Go-to sales tool.
WAVV. Honestly.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. Most underrated sales skill.
Compartmentalizing emotion. When you start feeling in the sales call, you stop thinking.
Okay.
Sales guys have to be able to separate the excitement of, hey, I'm going to possibly close this deal from being focused on what the prospect actually needs.
Yeah. Valid. That's so valid. Cold email, call, or DM?
The phone. Fastest, most efficient, best connections. The phone all day long. Cold calling is not dead.
Cringiest sales move you still see?
Following up to see if you have any questions. Because they go, nope, don't have any questions. And where do you go from there in the conversation? If your reps are saying, hey, I'm following up to see if you have any questions, then you need to address your sales script, because that's cringy.
Ew, and we don't want to do that here. Thank you so much, Tyler, for your
welcome.
time. Mic drop. You crushed
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Selling can be difficult, and we want to know what the hardest part of selling is for you. Let us know in the comments below. You came here looking for something. Maybe it's a better way to open cold calls, a mind shift to stay motivated, or just real advice from someone who's actually been in the trenches. You've got what you need. Put it into practice, test it out this week, and see what changes. Sales isn't about knowing more, it's about applying better. So take what you heard, try it, and keep building momentum. If this video helped you, hit that like button and subscribe. We are dropping videos weekly. And if you're looking for tools that help you have better conversations, not just more dials, check out WAVV. It's built for reps who want to book smarter and close faster. Links in the description. Hey, if you like this video, go check this one out.